be real. If you're here, you're tired of hearing the same old tips. Make a schedule, study consistently, blah blah blah. That's not what this video is about. Today I'm sharing real 5 tips that toppers actually use, but they never talk about. These tips are not just smart, they are brutal. They'll push you, challenge you, and transform the way you study. So if you are ready to leave the mediocre behind and become the smartest person in the room, let's dive in. But don't skip the video. Trust me, this video is going to be a lifesaver. 1. Learn to ask questions that create clarity. Here's something most students never do: ask questions in class. Let me ask you, when you sit in a lecture and you don't understand something, what do? Some people stay silent hoping the teacher will eventually explain it better or they'll figure it out later. But toppers take charge right there in the classroom. The trick is to ask smart questions. Don't just say, I don't understand. Be specific. For example, ask, why does this equation work in this situation but not in others? Or, can you give me a real life example for this theory? This not only clears your doubt but also makes you more engaged in the topic. And let's be real, teachers love students who ask questions. It shows you're interested and often give extra help to students who stand out this way. Here's a challenge for you. In your next class, ask one thoughtful question. It might feel awkward at first, but it will boost your confidence. Tip number 2. Have you ever noticed how teachers seem to know everything? It's not because they're geniuses, it's because teaching forces them to master their subjects. Topper takes advantage of this by studying as if they are preparing to teach someone else. Here's how it works. After reading a topic, close your book and explain it out loud. Imagine you're teaching to a friend, a sibling, or even a mirror. The goal is to make explanation simple and clear enough for anyone to understand. If you get stuck or realize you can't explain something, that's a sign you need to review it again. This method is called active recall and it's incredibly powerful. Studies show that active retrieving information strengthens our memory instead of passively rereading a text. Quizzing yourself and teaching are two best options. Now let's test you. Could you explain the last topic you studied to someone else without looking at your notes? If not, it's time to try this strategy. Tip number 3. Focus on what really matters. Be honest, do you try to study everything in your textbook? If yes, you are doing it wrong. Toppers know that they don't have time to master every single detail, so they focus on the high impact topics that matter most. Start by looking at your past exam papers. What topics appear most often carries more marks. Prioritize these areas first. Also check out your syllabus. While solving past year papers, look for what topics come often and which chapter carries more marks. For example, if you're studying math, focus on formulas and problems. If it's science, focus on diagrams, experiments, and definitions that teachers love asking about. Once you've identified the topics, create concise notes, just one page per chapter. Write down only the important formulas, dates, and ideas. Review these summaries every day by the time exam rolls around, and you'll have all the key information at your fingertips. Let me ask you this. Are you spending most of your time on important topics or studying the whole book? Tip number 4. Use your mistakes as an advantage. Let me share a secret. Toppers aren't afraid to fail. In fact, they learn more from their mistakes than from their successes. Most students hate looking at their wrong answers. They feel embarrassed or frustrated, but toppers, they treat their mistakes like gold. Here's what you need to start. Start making a mistake journal. Every time you get a question wrong, whether it's during homework or a quiz or a test, write it down. Note the exact reason why you made a mistake. Did you forget a formula, misread the question, or skip this step? Write it down before your next test. Go through your mistake journal and focus on fixing those specific areas. By targeting your weak areas, you'll improve faster. Tip number 5. Real exam pressure. Here's a question. How do you usually study? Are you lying on your bed, checking your phone in between, or probably taking long breaks? Be honest, toppers don't study like that. They prepare for exams by practicing under the same conditions they'll face. During the test hours, you can do it too. Grab a past exam paper, set a timer, and solve it without any distraction. Treat it exactly like a real thing. No checking answers midway, no snacks, no breaks. This will train your brain to handle pressure, manage time, and stay focused. If you can't get a full exam paper, create your own time challenges. For example, set a 20-minute time and start solving the past year paper. And that's it, the 5 game changing strategies that will take you from average to topper. These aren't just tips, these are tools that work if you put in the effort. Until next time, bye!